Every woman has a season where she feels like she's holding her whole life together with shaking hands. A season where she looks strong on the outside, but inside she's thinking, I really don't know how much longer I can keep this up. And let me be honest with you, this wasn't the first time my life felt like it was falling apart financially. My foreclosure happened long before the season, and that was the moment that really started shifting my relationship with money. If you've read my book, The Feminine Finance Code, you already know that part of my story in much more depth. But this moment we're about to talk about shaped me even further and taught me money lessons I didn't even realize I still needed. And if you ever felt like life keeps handing you one financial challenge after another, this conversation is definitely for you. Hey friend, I'm Felicia, your money mindset muse, and welcome to Money Talk Mondays on the Worlds Within. This is a safe space where we talk about money, mindset, and meaning with no judgment and no confusing finance jargon. Today, I want to bring you into one of the hardest seasons of my life. Not so we can sit in the pain, but so you can hear the truth about what that chapter taught me about money, about identity, and about rebuilding your life when you feel like you're starting from the bottom again. So, let me tell you what was going on during that time. I was newly divorced, and my life did not look anything like I thought it would. My child lived with me during the week and spent weekends with their father. We were co parenting, and he was involved, but the day to day work of routines and emotions and school and just keeping everything steady was mostly on me. And I tried my best to make home feel stable even though I didn't feel stable inside. I was trying to figure out who I was in this new season. I was trying to rebuild my life. And honestly, for a little bit, I felt like I was starting to get my footing again. I had a job, I had a loose plan. It wasn't perfect, but I was moving forward. Then I lost my job. You know that feeling when you're already stretched thin and life decides to add a little more pressure. That was me. One minute I had a paycheck and a little sense of stability. The next minute it was gone, and with it went the small amount of safety I thought I had. I remember sitting there thinking, how am I supposed to do this? How am I going to take care of my child, look for work, keep the bills paid, and not fall apart? My heart was tired. My mind was racing. My bank account was not matching the level of stress I felt. And right in the middle of all that, I made a decision that absolutely did not make sense if you looked at it logically. While I was unemployed and trying to hold everything together at home, I decided to go back to school and get my master's degree. No steady job, a child depending on me, tuition to figure out, classes to complete, and a future that felt blurry. From the outside, it probably looked like the wrong time to add more to my plate. But in my heart, I knew I needed to invest in the future version of myself, even though the current version of me was tired and overwhelmed. That entire season was heavy. It pushed me to be strong when I felt empty. It made me rebuild areas of my life and my identity that I'd been avoiding. And it brought up money truths I needed to face. So let's talk about what that season actually taught me about money. My foreclosure had already shaken me awake. That was the first moment when I realized I couldn't keep living in survival mode. But this later season took everything deeper. It showed me that money will expose the parts of your life and your heart that still need healing. For me, it exposed how much I tied my identity to being the strong one. It exposed how uncomfortable I was asking for help. It exposed how deeply I connected my worth to my productivity and my income. And it exposed how often I kept myself busy to avoid sitting with my fears. During that time, I had to ask myself some real questions. Why do I feel guilty spending money on myself, even when it's something I actually need? Why am I rushing to take care of everyone else while hesitating to create safety for myself? Why do I keep sliding back into patterns that don't serve me anymore? And here's what I learned. Changing your money mindset is not a one-time revelation. It is a gradual process. It is deepened over time. Sometimes it is life circling you back to the same lesson because now you're ready to learn it on another level. For example, my foreclosure taught me one layer. This season taught me the next layer. And I want you to hear this clearly. If you feel like you're learning the same lesson again, it doesn't mean you failed. It might mean you're growing. If you're getting value from this conversation, go ahead and subscribe so you never miss a Monday. It also helps this message reach more women who need it. Now, let's talk about why so many of us stay stuck after life hits us hard. Most of the time, it is not because we are irresponsible or bad with money. That is not the truth. Most of the time, we stay stuck because we are tired. We stay stuck because we are trying to heal and survive at the same time. We stay stuck because slowing down feels scary. We stay stuck because looking at our numbers feels like facing something we are not ready for. We stay stuck because we are carrying emotional weight and still expected to function like nothing happened. Nobody teaches women how to rebuild after a hard financial or emotional season. Nobody explains how to take care of your mind, your heart, and your bank account at the same time. So we do what we have always done. We push through, we keep going, we hold it all together. We try to look fine, and on the outside, it looks like strength. But here is what I learned. Staying strong and staying stuck can look very similar. The difference is whether you are being honest with yourself about what you really need and what is no longer working. If you're back, I can see a few shifts that truly changed how I move with money. One night, after a long day of parenting and schoolwork and feeling overwhelmed, I realized something. I was rebuilding my life, but I was not including myself in the rebuild. I was trying to create stability, but I had not built a plan that cared for my emotional or spiritual well-being. So I made a different choice. I decided I wanted to rebuild from clarity and intention, not fear. The fear did not disappear. It just stopped being in charge. On a practical level, that meant giving myself permission to actually look at my numbers without shaming myself. It meant creating simple steps instead of trying to save my entire future overnight. It meant saying no a little more often so I could protect the future I was building. It meant letting myself be a beginner again. On an emotional and spiritual level, it meant separating my worth from my income. It meant reminding myself that a hard season is not the same thing as a ruined future. It meant trusting that God was still with me. Even in that messy chapter, it meant allowing myself to rest and still get up and try again. The biggest shift was this. I stopped seeing money as a verdict on my value. I started seeing it as a tool. a tool I could learn, a tool I could manage, a tool that could support the woman I was trying to become. Looking back, let's talk about you, because you might be in your own rebuilding chapter right now. Maybe you just went through a breakup or a divorce. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe the bills feel heavier than the strength you have right now. Maybe you're taking care of kids or parents or a whole community and wondering who is taking care of you. So I want you to take a breath and ask yourself some real questions. What is this season trying to show me about how I see money and how I see myself? Where am I judging myself for not being further ahead? Where am I carrying shame that does not belong to me? If I was not rebuilding from fear, what would rebuilding from honesty look like? What is one small step I can take to create more stability without abandoning myself in the process? Your wake up moments will not look exactly like mine, and they do not need to. The important thing is paying attention to what this season is trying to teach you. You are not behind, you are becoming. You are not failing, you are unfolding. You are not broken, you are rebuilding. Now, let's talk. Wherever you are on your journey, I want you to remember this. You are allowed to grow slowly. You're allowed to learn the same lesson more than once. You're allowed to choose yourself even in a hard season. And you are allowed to believe that your future with money can feel more steady than your past. And that is exactly what we are doing together here, creating a new relationship with money, one honest conversation at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me for another Money Talk Monday on The Wealth Within. I am your host, Felicia. And remember, you do not need permission to be great. You just need a plan. And we are building that plan together right here on The Wealth Within. If this message spoke to you, or you know a woman who needs this conversation, go ahead and like this video, share it with her, and subscribe to the channel. And tell me in the comments what part of today's episode stayed with you. I would love to hear from you. So, where